The FBI has targeted black movements and black leaders nearly from its inception over 100 years ago. Its programs have led to wrongful arrests, the destruction of black communities, and even the deaths of numerous black activists. Not once has there been any restitution offered for the agency's often unjustifiable infiltrations, investigations, or surveillances. But that may change. Monday, the Supreme Court agreed to hear the FBI's argument to block a civil rights lawsuit filed by 3 Muslim men from California accusing the agency of illegal surveillance following the September 11th attacks. The case stems from an FBI counterterrorism investigation that involved infiltrating mosques in Southern California to gather information on Muslim communities. The lawsuit accuses the FBI of engaging in religious discrimination by targeting Muslim Americans solely based on their religion and violating the plaintiff's First and Fourth Amendment rights in the process. The Supreme Court will consider whether or not the claim should be rejected due to the government's state secrets privilege. This doctrine prevents courts from revealing state secrets during civil litigation if it is believed the nation's security is at risk, including the cause for the investigation. If the Supreme Court rules that state secrets privileges can be revoked during civil litigation, what does this mean for past cases and those in the future? Joining us to discuss is Executive Director of the Council on American-Islamic Relations, Hussam Ayloush. Mr. Ayloush, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Just sketch out for us, what is the plaintiff's case here? Is it just as straightforward as you cannot come into our mosque and conduct surveillance at all, and that's the base of the case, or what are the full parameters of this case?
Sure. Well, good evening to you, Charles, and to your viewers and listeners. Thank you for having me. Great honor and great privilege to be part of this show. To put it simply, this is about saying to the FBI, you cannot treat any community in America as second-class citizens. Historically speaking, we know that the FBI has had a long history of treating minorities, whether it's African Americans, whether it's Latinos, whether it's Muslims and others, as second-class citizens, as people who are deemed as suspects until proven innocent. And this is the gist of this case is saying you cannot violate people's constitutional rights and First Amendment rights, including the most basic of that, and that is freely worshiping at mosques or any place of worship, while hiding behind the state secret excuse. This is exactly what they do. They violate every law, violate every right, and then in order to cover up for it, they say, well, you can't investigate us, you can't hold us liable and accountable for our actions because we are here to protect you from something evil that only us know about it. What we're saying is, no, you don't get the chance to play judge, jury, and executioner at the same time. We're a country that still has due process, and we're a country of rights.
Do you know if there is any precedent in the FBI for them going into religious institutions on a surveillance operation like this one?
I mean, Dr. King, obviously, I have no doubt the civil rights movement in the 60s, which was generated from mosques and churches, and mostly churches, were infiltrated, were tapped on. I don't think, what makes this a little bit more unique is the fact that these are not even activist people. It's just regular mosque-going people. Basically what it is, this stems from a case that in 2006,
I mean, that's what I was asking, actually, whether or not the congregation of a religious institution had ever been surveilled in this way.
I hope not, because had it been the case that it's just average mosque-going or church-going people being spied on, surveilled, that should be outrageous. I think, can you imagine if this has happened at a Catholic church or a Jewish synagogue? There certainly would have been a reaction, and rightly so. What we're talking about is that the FBI has admitted to recruiting over 11,000 informants. A big chunk of them, a big majority of them, were sent and continue to be sent to mosques with no reason for suspicion. just sending them to the mosque, because the assumption is if this is a mosque, that means Muslims go there, that means there's something fishy somehow. And this was in 2006 when they sent this person who pretended to be Muslim, went to the mosque. His name is Craig Monte, claimed to be a Muslim convert, converted inside a mosque, went to separate mosques, and started targeting young American Muslims, going to young people, telling them, America is such a bad place, we need to blow up America's buildings, we need to target the federal building, America only understands violence, I am an ex-military person. And that was reported to me personally. Actually, I was told specifically by the congregation when I challenged him on this. I said, let's meet. Where are you getting your information from? He said he started telling people, don't support CARE, the organization, the civil rights organization I work for. Don't work with CARE because CARE is a sellout organization that is on the payroll of the FBI. Imagine the COINTELPRO type of work we're dealing with.
So, Mr. Ayloush, I have like 30 seconds left. I just want to know, what do you think restitution would look like in this case?
First, an acknowledgement of the wrongdoing that has happened, systems that will prevent abuse of power by the FBI. It is not acceptable for the FBI to target citizens, people in America who have not committed anything illegal, just on the basis of their race, religion, or any other legal affiliation protected under First Amendment right. We hope that we end this practice so we can uphold our constitutional rights.
Hussam Ayloush, thank you so much for joining us and explaining this story for us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Charles.